All right, so it says we're live. So welcome back to the GM's Dice, everyone. I know it's been a very long time since we've had a game up and going, but back at it again, and hopefully going to be back more often.
Yay.
Tonight we've got a game set from the Empire's point of view, titled Band of Brothers. I've got 5 players sitting here with me who have all spent their time building characters and willing to spend a couple hours looking at my goofy face and listening to my voice. And I'm going to give each of them a chance to introduce themselves and the characters they're playing. And we'll go from left to right on my screen, starting with Alan.
Okay, hi guys. My name's Alan. I used to play with Sean a long time ago, and it's my first game in a year, so I'm really happy to be back at the GM's Dice. I'm playing a character called SIB007, call sign Bond. He is, I know, cheesy, right? But he's a sharpshooter. He's more of a reconnaissance type who likes to deal with insurgents from a distance. He believes that if it bleeds, he can kill it. And that's me.
All right, now leaves Jim is next.
Hey, I'm Jim, the GM, and I am playing. I am playing Fell Happy Geff. Happy as in trigger happy. I love every absolute situation that I can get a hold of where I can just squeeze the grip, fire away, and I tend to laugh when that happens. It's one of life's most enjoyable moments. I like guns, big guns, little guns, especially my gun, that if I have to use yours, I'll pick it up off your dead body.
All right, Ken.
I'm Ken. I'm playing T5337, otherwise known as Les. I am a scout and trailblazer. My main goal, or I guess my character's main goal, is that no matter what, the rebels have always resorted to guerrilla tactics. I'm the counter to that. We're not going to be surprised, and it's my job to find a way to end up running.
All right, Nate.
Yeah, I'm Nathan, and I haven't played with Sean in over 18 months, man. This is said you were playing a game, and I'm like, I'm there. I'm not gonna pass this up. So, so I am playing TK 2375. I'm the lieutenant to the sergeant, and my guy's all about the tactical advantages. Not necessarily the best of the weapons, but yes, definitely all about the tactical advantages.
All right, and last but not least, Tommy.
Hey guys, I'm Tommy. Same as Nate. It's been a while since we played. Glad to be back. I'm playing TK8003, otherwise known as Sarge. He's the weapons master of the group. Here to win battles for the Empire any way he can and shoot things in the process.
All right. Well, this session starts out with the 5 of you and 19 of your brothers, all on a transport, coming back from a very successful mission. When you're all in the troop bay, doing your usual thing, just bullshitting and having a good time, unwinding after your mission, and there's explosion after explosion that starts rocking through the ship. And the next thing you know, I mean, you're descending into atmosphere. You're being thrown around all over the cabin. And then everything goes black. Could be hours, could be days later, when you start coming to one by one. There's wreckage and carnage all around, and it's barely recognizable that you were in a ship at all. A lot of your brothers have been beaten around so bad that there's just blood all over the place. And upon a quick inspection, as you begin to pull yourselves from the wreckage, instead of counting 24, yourselves included, you're only counting 20, yourselves included, bodies. You begin to pull yourselves from this wreckage of your transport and find that you are smack in the middle of a jungle, on a planet that looks a lot like any other. What do you guys do? What's the first thing that runs through your minds?
Where's the lieutenant?
I'm here.
That's the first thing that ran through my mind.
Yeah.
What's the plan, Lieutenant?
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah. Sarge, check the cockpit. Let's get ourselves out of this mess. Then you see the lieutenant's trying to like wipe off the gore and whatever else. I'm like, no need to attract anything else while we're out here. Clean yourselves up. We'll rally on the outside of the ship here once we find a way out. So,
From on the fringes of all of the bodies, quietly here. Sully? Sully? Sully, where are you? Sully! Oh my God, Sully! Oh, Sully! And all of a sudden, picking up this light repeating blaster. Oh, I lost you. Sling it over my shoulder, visibly calming down, standing up.
Lieutenant waves a towel for him to dry his face off. Can't see anything through that visor like that.
So Sarge will walk up behind him, smack him on the back of the head, and say, "Let's get moving, trooper."
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bond will emerge from like the wreckage of the ship, like carrying what can only be described as a huge like hand cannon, and he'll just kind of run forward to the edge of the clearing or where we landed, and kind of set up a prone position, just kind of like scanning the undergrowth. And I'm going to be right back a sec.
All right. Well, the one who's doing any looking around just had to step out for a minute, so can't.
Ken, I forgot what's your character's name then?
Les.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Les, why don't you back up Bond over there, get him, make sure that he's got appropriate eyes on things.
Roger that, Lieutenant. Are we looking for high ground, or are we looking for defensible position?
Just give me a whole layout of the land first, and then we'll make plans for moving there. Are there any other? So that, between Happy and myself, we'll do a quick search of whatever's remaining in the ship. See if we have any other supplies that we can take with us.
All right. Well, as far as supplies go, I mean, you've got pretty much anything and everything that your fellow troopers were carrying, as far as supplies for you to be able to use.
Right. Okay. So you said we are down 5 men then, right? So the body count we'd go through, we're missing 5 of us out of the.
You're missing 4 out of your count of 24.
Okay. All right.
Are there tracks leading away from the site at all?
So you could make a survival check. at 2 difficulty, so average difficulty, 2 purple.
Okay. Why is the white dice in there? Oh, it's still up there. 3 successes.
All right.
It doesn't matter, still roll black. It's good.
All right. So with the 3 success, you find that there are drag marks coming from inside the ship that are caked with old blood that's begun to dry, and some paw prints that are rather large.
Lieutenant, the people missing, I believe, were taken away from by a large beast. I do not have the proper information on what kind of beast it is, but the paw prints are certainly large, sir.
Check the outside of the shuttle. Does it look like it was ripped open, or does it look like they just were grabbed from the inside?
It looks like they were just grabbed from the inside. Other than wreckage damage, there's no blaster burns or anything from the outside of the ship.
So no claw marks, no anything else, and basically just kind of like crushed and popped itself open, pretty much.
Yeah,
All
just crushed and ripped and torn metal, but
right.
no claw marks or burns of any sort.
All right, Sarge, you got anything on the pilots?
All dead, sir.
Roger that. Everybody, rally outside on the Bond and Les, please, and we'll. He starts heading out for the door or the exit.
Bond, I have track marks headed in that direction. See any?
Yeah, I was going to ask, could I make like a survival or a perception check, see if I can get onto those tracks, Sean?
Yeah. Are you? What are you trying to do? Trying to just see where they go, or trying to follow
them? Well, see if I can like follow them from the ship, and then once I've got a track, then I'll attempt to follow them. Yeah.
All right.
Like they go this way. I'm not gonna run off into the jungle on my own, but I want to kind of find a trail for us to follow.
All right. Perception, average difficulty, 2 purple.
Roger that. Perception, green.
I'm passing on a blue, just in case you didn't know.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, baby.
All right, nice job.
Yep. So you can see that they lead off in what we'll call a southern direction.
Okay. LT, I think I found the drag marks our boys were taking this way on the southern heading.
Roger that. The notice the blood was dried on this end. Did you see anything just other than drag marks?
Sure.
Just the beginning to dry blood, leaves.
Any paw prints or whatever? I think that's probably more like what kind of.
Yeah. The paw prints are probably a good 8 to 10 inches in diameter. I mean, these prints are massive.
Roger that.
Found prints, LT. I don't recognize what they're from, but it was certainly a beast of substantial size by the look of its feet.
If you want to make a zoonology check at hard 3 purple difficulty, you can.
Alrighty, just for the lols, I will. Go on one time. Oh no!
Oh,
it's got 4.
Right.
You know exactly what it is, don't you?
Yeah, we're just gonna bombard you with strain for that one because you're all shook up from the crash and whatnot, and from seeing the size of these tracks and knowing that whatever it is that drug away 4 of your partners, your brothers, that it could be coming back for you.
Okay, so I'm taking strain.
Yep, 4 strain.
So
Alan kind of paused. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
I was going to say, as Bond kind of pauses, or I don't know how he reacts when he starts to think about this, but Les kind of slaps him on the shoulder and says, "Just remember, I have a pistol, and you have a sniper rifle. Whatever these are, big."
Kind of shake it off and just nod his head. We're like thankful that the helmet's covering his ashen features.
So the shuttle would it provide any higher advantage for seeing anything in the area, or is it pretty much buried up in the foliage?
It's about half its height, but there's dense, thick trees around. So I mean, it would get you off the floor of the forest, but it really wouldn't give you a whole lot of a better view.
No worries. All right. Yeah. So, Sarge and Happy, you guys take point, and Les, you cover the back with the Bond here, and I'll take the middle. You guys, remember we got the helmet comm, so give us a heads up if anything changes, and I'm LT makes sure that the sit rep goes through, so everybody's aware that we've got large beasts in the area, and we've lost at least 4 of our other members, or been at least drugged off through that direction. So,
All right. Let's go.
We start heading south.
All right. Are you just heading in that direction, or are you trying to follow the tracks?
I'll leave that up to Sarge.
Go ahead.
The tracks is the obvious. What we need to follow if we can.
All right. Well, they're not. They're just animals, so they're not trying to hide their tracks or anything. So, another survival check at average 2 purple difficulty.
You or me? Which one? Sarge.
Could be
You could both do it separately, or you could whoever's doing it could have a boost dice for
Okay.
both of you looking.
I got 2 green, so I'll give you a boost.
I'll take it, man. Yeah. Versus 2 purple, you say?
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
We start off in style.
Nice. All right. Yeah. You're following these tracks and moving right along. And aside from whatever you want to have happen for the triumph that you rolled, I'm going to give you this. As you're following these tracks, you can see ruins off in the distance to the west, to your right, and you've seen this architecture before, giving you've maybe not been exactly in this spot before, but you've been on this planet before. It just all of a sudden dawns on you that you're on Takodana.
That's good enough for a triumph for me. Know where we are? That opens up a lot of knowledge for us.
Is that an outer rim?
Yes.
Okay, just double checking.
And I'll relay that to all of you.
Good deal. Yeah, Les, are you carrying a pair of macro binoculars or anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this, you're saying that, okay, good, we're on Takodana. That's good. We've been up here before. And this structure, what was the significance of this structure there, Sean?
No real significance to it. I mean, it's a crumbling thing. I mean, it's just like 3 walls that remain and one bit of a roof strut that goes from one wall to the other. The rest of the place has crumbled. It's got vines and all sorts of growth growing up on what's left of the walls. But you can see that the tracks will lead you right along past it and further to the south still.
Okay. And on previous excursions here, what was our purpose being here?
Previous excursions, you've had dealings with tracking down rebels in the past that were receiving help from Maz.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's like, okay. Okay. So, yeah, so the tracks, well, I would say we continue following the tracks down then. Unless, Sarge, you have something else that you see it or you're aware of.
Nothing at the moment, Sarge.
All right.
All right.
Unless
he's talking to himself again. I hate it when he does that.
Unless anybody else has got something to say, we'll continue on with you guys following the tracks for a little while. All right, you follow the tracks for another half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and you come to an area that's kind of rocky, sort of cliff-like, nothing real tall or anything, but you can see that a lot of these rocks have or a lot of these bluff-type walls have overhangs to where they'd make sort of a natural little shelf. And under one of these shelves, these natural rock shelves, you can see a group of large feline-type animals. When I say large, I mean think lion-type size. And you can see that there are 4 large, these feline cats, and probably half a dozen smaller cub-sized animals. And you can see white plastoid armor all over the place.
Bastards.
I'll relay that all to LT.
These feline things have like big smiles full of teeth.
No.
Not our classic Nexu then.
No, not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Watch it, they're going to morph on us here.
These, whereas Nexu are kind of a shaggy sort of look with large spines on their shoulders and such. These things are rather sleek, short-haired. Their tails have sort of a arrowhead, sort of like club end on them, and they've got these tusks that jut out from their jaw that are about 6 to 8 inches long on the adults.
Hmm. We determined that there were cliffs, like overhangs over the top.
Yes, there's multiple little areas that have these natural shelf type of like half cave type of look to them, and these animals are under one of such things. It looks like they've built their nest or whatever you want to call it there.
It's like we've got a vantage point, boys. So Happy and Sarge, you guys take the left wall, find yourself a decent spot up there. Radio me back when you're in position, and the other 3 of us will head up on the right side, and we'll assess the situation once we get up there. I'd rather be above these things than down in the thick of them.
LT, can I find an elevated position to shoot down on, because this rifle is not very good for up close and personal combat.
Roger that. So yeah.
Aside from trees, the highest ground you're going to find around here is these little natural shelf bits, and they're only about 20 feet in height above where the ground floor runs through underneath them.
And are there a few of these shelves like running in?
Yeah, think of like you're like going through a valley or a ravine type of thing. Each one on each side of you, there's these rock bluff walls, and along here there's areas where it sort of goes in and creates these natural shelves.
Right. So yeah, Bond, you're gonna have to probably trek down just a little further then to get some decent advantage with that sniper rifle there. So,
Roger that, LT.
So, yeah, radio back when you're in position. No. So LT will get to one of these outcrops, and he'll actually pull his macro binoculars out and scan up the direction where Bond's gone ahead, just to see if this. I guess more like a ravine has an exit point. So,
all right, yeah, the ravine it continues down along for probably a good quarter mile from where you guys first come along into it. I will let Bond describe the area he finds for hiding or for getting his vantage point.
Okay, Sean, just out of interest, what silhouette is a human? Silhouette 1?
I think silhouette 1 is human size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some camouflage paint, so I'm gonna I should have done this back at the crash site. I forgot I had it. But yeah, I'm just gonna quickly like dab this stuff all over my armor and my gun, and then I'm gonna start making my way around to this wall. Is it like a ravine?
Okay. I don't know how well you guys will actually be able to see that, but that's sort of what these things look like.
Whoa, okay. So yeah, I'll kind of like stealthily as I can, just kind of like make my way through the bushes and until I can find a place where I can get a little bit of elevation on the site and set up shop.
All right, you want to describe to us the area you find for setting up shop here?
Yeah, it's just part of the cliff wall where there's kind of maybe a ledge that juts out about 5 or 6 feet, and it's 20 feet up. Did you say?
Yes. On average, anywhere from 15 to 20 feet. There might be a couple of areas that get up to about 25 feet or so.
Well, do you want any athletics checks or anything as an attempt to get up to this ledge? It's kind of like a cliff and a wall.
Well, no, because where you guys stop, where you guys first see these things, you're right at the end of this ravine to where it's the sides sort of start to go up. So
okay.
you'd easily be able to just walk up over one of the sides of it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll get to the top and just kind of look down, and what can I see, Sean?
Well, as you pass along these things, you get closer to them, pass by them. You can see that they have indeed drug off 4 of your brothers. That they've got all 4 bodies there that have. 2 of the bodies are in the process of being torn apart by these cubs. Like there's a few of them that their heads have completely disappeared into the chest and abdomen cavity of the body. A couple of the adults are like pulling on a leg that's been severed. They're sort of fighting over the leg. And there's 2 other bodies that are laying there that, other than being drug out here, haven't really been touched yet.
Okay. LT, found our guys. These big cat things with huge tails. The cubs are, oh my God, I can't believe what they're doing. Oh. Yeah, I'm still kind of shook up from the original crash and realizing that, you know, we weren't alone. And yeah, basically we got 2 guys, 2 of our guys that looks like they haven't been untouched, but the cubs and the adults are devouring and they're snacking on the guy. Oh, there's so much blood. LT.
Yes, it's definitely not Disney or George Lucas's Star Wars. There is blood in my game.
Yes, the realism. I'm like, I got you, Bond. I got you. Yeah, just keep.
The 2 guys might still be alive. They're unmoving, but they haven't been ripped apart yet. So I suggest we
Roger
get
that.
try and get them back.
Got it. Yeah. So the LT radios up the squad. No, gents, which one of you is carrying grenades?
You
Any
hear
of
a
you packing
clicky
grenades?
noise. You hear a clicky noise next to you.
Way to go. So let's see. You could get 1, 2. So, Bond, I want you to sight in on one of those, one of the bigger cats, and unless drop 1 or 2 of those grenades to our right, that follow further south in the direction where Bond is. We want to flush those cats the other back north of us.
The other direction, yes, sir.
Sergeant Happy, get ready to light those things up as they come out past you.
Locked and loaded, LT.
Roger that. Okay, Bond, on your signal.
The beast is in my sights. Okay, so Sean, I'd like to find the biggest, most ugly-looking one, and yeah, just give it a true aim special.
All right, I'll give you guys your surprise round here, or your 1 surprise action, and then we'll roll for initiative. So, how far down did you go?
Me?
Yeah.
Until I could
Full
just
quarter mile.
Yeah, until I was just a good ways behind them. I don't want to be like perched just above them, you know. I want to be like quite a ways back.
Okay, so we'll say you're at. We'll say you've gone out to be at about long range.
Yeah, long range is fine.
All right, so and they're in the ravine. You're hanging out over it. There's not a lot of actual plant life in the bottom of the ravine that would be blocking your view or anything. So we'll say that's just your standard 3 purple.
Okay. Okay. So I forgot, when you true aim, you upgrade your dice rolls, right? So the green becomes a yellow, is it? And
Yep.
all right. Okay. So
Upgrade per rank of true aimed. How many ranks do you have?
just the 1.
Okay.
So yeah, just upgrade 1 green to 1 yellow.
And
Cool.
add a and still add a boost die for aiming, because it still counts. The aim still counts.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So 2 of those. 2 of those. 2 of those. And 3 purple.
Yes, sir.
All right. Time to get some pussy. Boom.
Jesus. All right.
Ooh. Rawr.
So 1 success is used for the actual hit, so your damage plus 4.
Okay, so that's 11 damage plus 4.
14.
Jesus Christ. All right. Do you have Pierce?
Gotta love that sniper rifle.
You got Pierce or anything on there?
Yeah, the rifle itself has PS2.
Right.
Accurate.
Mhm.
What? The accurate's the blue dice. So yeah, PS2, and yeah, I've got lethal blows and stuff, but that's only on a crit.
Okay. All right. So Pierce 2. So that's all right. Wow.
Payback's
What?
a bit. Today,
Bond
payback is spelled B-O-N-D.
Bond is supposed to be letting me know when he's going to shoot. The bastard always shows off. I'm standing over the ledge with a grenade, getting ready to drop it, and then one of the cats gets blown up.
You don't kill it, but you deal a lot of damage to it. This thing is severely wounded.
Well, good. Then less dropping a grenade or two over the head should be enough to finish them. I'm like, incoming, gents, and I'm like, I tap Les on the shoulder. Give that sucker a toss and let's get going.
Okay, what's the difficulty for dropping a grenade?
You're just standing right over the top of where
Well, I knowing that they're cats, I probably like crawled in a little bit, not wanting them to see me or not wanting them to hear me. Tried to do it somewhat stealthily, but yes, literally just over the ledge, trying to throw it underneath the ledge.
Well, seeing how they're most of them they're still underneath the ledge. It's trying to get it to go underneath. I'm gonna say 2 purple.
Okay. And that's fantastic. So that is
It went off.
10 damage, and I can activate blast with 2 of those, and the other 2 I will disorient one of the big ones.
All right. So it's 10 damage. Blast of what?
Or no, that's 9 damage, not 8. That's 9 damage, and blast of 6.
Blast 6. All right. So you're using frag grenade.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. That's all of them wind up taking. All right, so you wind up killing the one that Bond shot.
I flip Blonde a middle finger, saying countdown.
But you kill a few of the cubs, but the other 3 adults look more pissed off than anything, or at least sound more pissed off than anything, seeing how they are sort of underneath you. You can't really see them, but you can hear all sorts of growls and all sorts of stuff. And at that, I'm going to say initiative. Roll cool checks, seeing how you guys know that they're there. Right.
I'm not very cool.
We like you anyway.
Yeah, like Bond looks cool, but that's about as far as it goes.
That should just be 2-0. The purple should be out of there.
Okay.
Good. Oh snap! Give it up, baby.
Jeez, guys. All right. So that is. Let's see. BC. PC. NPC.
I love Jim's character picture on the dice roller. It looks like he looks horrified at whatever he rolls. Oh my god, just two advantage.
Did I do that? Oh.
Awesome.
All right, so we've got 2 PCs, an NPC, a PC, an NPC, 2 more PCs, and then the NPC.
I'm going to go ahead and use rapid reaction and add 1 more success into my initiative.
Okay.
My weapon's slow firing, so I'll quite happily take one of the NPC slots, PC slots near the back if you guys like.
That's fine. I'd figure you would. We'd use you to corral them back our direction if they started splitting.
That's why I didn't see the middle finger thrown my way because I was too busy like reloading this, like so pretended not to notice.
He's over there cradling this thing. putting this foot long shell into.
That's exactly it.
All right, so that makes it 2 of you, 1 of them, 2 of you, 1 of them, 1 of you, 1 of them.
So, all right. So, yeah, I can't remember. Is there a way to use the triumph even on an initiative check?
You can have a maneuver, right? Or is that a homebrew, or is that a home thing? I don't remember what it is.
I don't know. I was just curious. I was like,
That sounds good. I'll give you an extra maneuver. I'll allow you to have 2 maneuvers.
Okay, so I'm gonna. So LT's gonna take his maneuver, and I'm gonna use my field commander talent, and if it's successful, then everybody could will have a free maneuver available if you want to take the strain. So, and then he'll be the second to last. He'll be in the last group with Bond when he takes his action. Then, so
Cool. I'll take a free maneuver.
all right. And let me double check, make sure. Yeah, leadership.
I will aim.
I'm gonna find me a target. Okay, so let's see, 2 and that, and all right. So yeah, open to everybody. You have the option to take a free maneuver off of 1 strain. So, and I would assume either Sarge, Happy, or less.
I'll go ahead and take a shot. I'll go after it. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go after.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Les, you're gonna take a shot down into him.
Happy as I thought, or Happy or Sarge.
Yeah, I think it was Happy and Sarge.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Les will hit the second group.
All right. Whoever wants to go next, we've got 1 more PC before 1 of them gets to go.
I'll go after it, sure.
Okay.
And we're all in long range right now?
No, that depends on where you wanted to be.
So, hey, Sean.
What?
Yeah, so with Sarge and Happy, they would have been at one of the first of the little outcroppings on the ravine. LT and I, myself and Les, we went further up, and then Bond went way further past that. So
okay, so yeah, you'd be at probably about medium range.
Is that 2 purples?
Yes, 2 purple.
that'd be 2. Uh-huh.
All right, and I aimed. Shoot. Bang, bang.
Nice. All right, so you hit 1 for how much?
13.
Wow. All right.
And are you shy by 1 crit then?
Yeah, I missed my 1 crit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have Pierce 1 in my weapon.
Okay, so that's 13 damage minus. All right.
Aim for a big one, and then I will move further on down the ring. And you all just see the laughing in your helmets, and you know, and as you have worked with me in the past, my channel is already turned way down.
All right. So you're moving further.
You moving
towards them
north or south?
Further away from them.
Strafing.
Okay.
Well, let's see. I just need to move.
Right.
See, further down the canyon would be best.
Yeah, I'll move further down the canyon.
Okay. So you're on the opposite side of where they're nested up at, but as you move along the canyon, you're actually moving closer to them.
Okay.
So just to let you know. So you move from medium range to short range to them, and that puts it as one of them. Let's see. Are you trying to be stealthy and quiet as you move, or are you just taking off running?
No, I like to be the target.
All right. Well, one of these big nasty bastards comes charging up out of there, and let's see here. Athletics for it. It's going to. Oh shit! I wish I'd have read through that earlier. Let's get adversary 1. I missed that the first time.
Now we know.
That's what comes from having all those, those dark side points to yourself,
Yeah, well.
Anyway, so
Getting ready to spend one of those. As this thing comes charging up and out of the nest, and it like runs up the side of this cliff and leaps at you.
Okay.
And that is a 1. And that becomes a melee, so that's 2. Whoops.
Can I use it? I never got to use those advantages.
Okay.
Cool. Well, then I'm going to add a setback to its next attack.
Sounds good. And roll. All right. Yeah, so this thing charges up out of here, and as it runs up the side of it like leaps halfway up the side of this thing, digs in with its claws, and leaps up off of the top, and like this thing just comes flying up over the edge and up into the air. And when it comes down, it lands right on you, putting its paws right into your shoulders.
Yeah.
And digs one of these tusks, or digs its tusks right into your collarbone area. For, let's see, 6 damage.
Okay.
should have at least a soak of 4.
And it's got Pierce 2.
So that'd be 2, yeah. Okay, so 4.
And it takes some strain as it's straining itself to be able to do all this.
I'm good.
And now it's 2 of you.
I'll go ahead and go.
All right, Sarge.
Is that the same one that he shot a second ago?
No, this one seems to be one of the larger ones. The one he shot is sort of backed up closer to the cubs that are remaining.
Okay. I'm going to run forward, range band, and use the extra maneuver to aim, take a strain, and auto fire on the one on top of him.
Okay. That one purple.
So 2 purple. Okay.
All right. Well, auto fire didn't kick in as you didn't get any advantages, but you still deal some massive damage. In which one were you aiming at again?
The one on top of Happy.
All right.
Yeah. So I got a base of 10.
All right. So +4.
14.
Well, I'm sure Happy is even happier now as you have just decimated the tusk cat that's on top of him. If you want to describe that.
I see this going on. I just, Sarge cares about these guys, runs out, takes a knee, and just blows the cat away. Did I kill it?
Oh, it's done. No, you catch this thing right in the side of the head.
Yeah,
he's still got Happy's still got 2 tusks stuck in him where the head just sort of pops.
Yeah, he's covered in the cat blood now. So there you go.
What color's the cat blood?
Sort of a blackish color.
That's ideal.
It's so dark red that it's almost black.
And LT noticing that. Don't waste any of that. It's like he LT taps less. You got a sight on anything?
Yes, sir. I got a sight on one of the smaller ones. So I presume when the explosion happens, everybody kind of ran. Are the smaller ones dead, or who's all? Like the cats are moving around. What's happened?
There was at the beginning. There was half a dozen cubs that were probably. I mean, when I say smaller, I mean they were probably the size of a full-grown German Shepherd, rather than these big, massive ones. And three of those were killed when the grenade went off. So there's still 3 cubs. There's a full-size tusk cat that's extremely wounded that is backed up and is sort of huddling over the cubs. And one other tusk cat took a shot from Bond and took the brunt of the explosion from the grenade. The other tusk cat had leapt up out of the nest and attacked Happy and is now dead as well. So there's one
Then take out
wounded full size, and one extremely wounded full size down.
And I'll take a shot at just the wounded one. I'm going to kind of lean over the edge just a little bit further as I'm laying down to get a cleaner shot. But I am definitely going to I have aim once from the field commander, and then I'm going to lean over to get a better shot. So that's my maneuver, and then I'm going to shoot.
All right. So you're right over the top of them, and you're leaning over this thing to try and shoot them. That's going to be 1 purple for your distance.
Okay.
And because of the strenuousness of actually leaning over this thing and trying to keep yourself up here rather than fall down with them,
okay.
I'm gonna add 2 setbacks.
Okay. I remove 1 for my custom grip that I purchased.
Okay.
So 1.
Got mag locks on his on his gloves.
Okay. So I
Donate.
miss, but I have a triumph and an advantage. I am not behind cover, so I don't have 2. Triumph, can I just like upgrade their next check?
The Triumph, I mean, you can do pretty much whatever you want with the Triumph. The Triumph, for me, for my games, is a big game changer type of thing. And you can have just about anything you want happen other than a Star Destroyer all of a sudden show up.
Could I like accidentally hit, and I mean accidentally hit, like the blaster reflect off the wall or something and hit one of the grenades on the chewed up corpse so that the grenade goes off?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll allow that.
Leisure Last does it again.
And let's see, that's...
Ken, are you in short range?
I am in short range.
You can use that advantage then to
Okay.
cause a strain to the critter. As a minus suppression fire.
That sounds fantastic. I will do that.
All right. And let's see. Just a generic corpse with a grenade going off at short range. Let's see what happens here.
It probably doesn't get the full blast because they've kind of moved away from the bodies when the first one went off. Well, like just I guess maybe it funnels them more towards the heavy and the Vanguard and everything else, or
the Cubs and all that. I mean, they're still right there near the corpses because I mean they were all eating when all this first started. So failure, but 2 advantages. I'm going to say that when this grenade goes off, it manages to pepper the other Cubs. The Cubs are all dead, but the advantages. I'm gonna say that the remaining 2 adults miraculously don't get hit by any of the shrapnel.
Okay.
And how do you want to spend the two advantages? Because this is from the
the grenade.
From the grenade going off.
Pass on boost die.
All right. So the next one.
Yeah, we pass it off to Bond. Mike, Bond, this is LT. You got a sit rep.
Yep, locked, loaded, ready.
Fire.
It is Bond's turn now because the one cat that got killed is dead.
Okay, so there's one big one left. Is that right?
There's 2 big ones left. One looks like it will fall over dead any minute if you allowed it to stand there long enough. And the other one, he's wounded but not very bad.
Okay, well that's the one that's in my sights.
All right.
Okay, Roger LT, firing. Oh, sorry, I forgot my. Is it 3 purple?
There's 3 purple.
That's a fantastic roll. Spend them.
Okay, but I rolled a failure, did I? So I can't actually call that a.
No, there's no failure in it. You just rolled 3 advantages.
Okay, and I can use them to make that a hit, right?
Yep.
Due
to my house rule, you can use those 3 advantages to make 1 success.
Okay, well in that case, I would like to successfully hit that big bastard.
All right, and that's 11 damage, right?
Roger that.
And you have Pierce
2.
2. That's what I thought. So let's see. All right, so now you've got 2 of them down that are severely wounded, but still standing. And
so, for the LT's action, he actually grabs the back of the load bearing vest of of Les and actually pulls him back up on the because it looks like he's like gonna roll over the edge. So he's like, and then I'm like we gotta get a squad name. That's anyway. Sarge, give me a sit rep from your angle, please.
Only got 2 left, LT.
Roger that. Bond, lock and load.
Yeah.
And which way did they move then? That would be the other thing, Sarge. Which way did they move? Did they move further south or they move north and away towards you?
Well, the one that that Bond just shot takes off north the way you guys came. He just runs. And the other one, you would take a guess it must be female because it's like standing there nuzzling a couple of the cubs, like pushing its nose into them, trying to get it to stand up type of thing.
Okay, so Sarge, happy or you worry about your trophies later? Just don't pull those things out yet. And I'm like, take the one that's heading north. Bond, you got the one on the south, and we'll cover you.
Roger that.
All right, so yeah, we got 2 PCs because I mean that's all just talking. That's all incidentals.
Right. So Bond has one of these lightning reload actions here. Either Happy or Sarge, you guys take your check.
I'll do it if you don't want it, man.
I'll take it this time.
Okay, go for it.
So I'll kneel down and aim again.
All right, which one are you aiming at? The one that's still under the bluff, messing with the cubs, or the one that took off running?
The one that took off running.
All right, that's going to be medium difficulty, average difficulty, so medium range, 2 purple.
All right. Boom.
Right.
That's 10 damage.
Yeah.
What's you crit on a 3?
Yeah. Well, if I kill it.
Yeah, you don't need the
Yeah.
you can.
Okay.
If you want to do the crit, you can, but just damage alone kills it, and you can describe how you kill it.
It's running down the ravine. It's just and it just starts tumbling over itself. Let's see. I'll just pass on the boost die. I can't think of anything at the moment.
All right.
Roger that. All right, Bond.
Okay, so the one that took off has been put down, so now we've just got what looks like a concerned mother and a poor little cub, right?
Yep, this thing is no longer making anywhere near any aggressive moves. I mean, its body posture has changed. It's just nosing the dead cubs.
Okay, so Bond's looking down his scope, and he kind of like his head comes up a little bit as he sees this quite like move in sight, but then like he glances down at the bodies of his fellow troopers, and then he lowers his head back into position and squeezes off a round. Have 3 purple, yeah.
Yeah, 3 purple.
That's a crit.
Again, you don't need it. It's toast.
Okay, so basically, like you say this, and then like about a second later, this cat just gets blown backwards, and then just kind of rolls a bit on the floor, and like just lies there prone with smoke from singed fur coming off it, just wisping upwards. And then he'll start like breaking down his rifle and slinging it back on his shoulder. Last tango down, LT.
Roger that. 10-4, let's regroup.
Yeah, you guys have killed all 10 of the cats that were there, the 6 cubs, the 4 adults. The one really the one bad thing about it is that the one shot that hit the grenade, it blew the one trooper in half and peppered the other one with shrapnel. So even if they were alive before all this started, they're not now.
Said
Roger that.
They didn't get any. Or did I hear that wrong?
Do what?
I thought the advantage from the grenade, they didn't take any shrapnel.
That was the cats.
Yeah, it was the cats. These are the
Yeah, the
bodies
big
of the
cats.
troopers.
So yeah, Sarge, Happy, drag that carcass of that cat back here.
Gotcha.
On it.
I'm like, and as soon as Bond gets here, I'm pointing out some like palm fronds and stuff. I'm like, let's and I'm checking the time, see where how much daylight we still have left.
You can guess that you've probably got about 2 to 3 hours worth of daylight left.
And okay, so yeah, I'd set I put Bond and Les on Overwatch to the south, and I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but standing out in this white Imperial laminate is like like dead on moving targets. And he grabs a palm frond and like starts like looking like it looks like a paintbrush. He's in there in the cat's blood. He's painting he's like, he hands it over to Happy. Here, get my back. It's like.
Okay.
All right. Do you all paint yourselves in this?
What type of planet were we on before we came here?
Before you came here,
Before we crashed
We
here?
came from Hoth.
Because I was wondering, because I would be in the camouflage to whatever planet we were on at the time. So that like
you were
Roger that.
on a forested planet,
so
but
then
it
I'd still
wasn't.
be in that camouflage.
Yeah, it wasn't anything
Right.
as dense or as thick as the jungles of Takodana.
Roger that. So we got what both Les and Bond have camouflage.
Yeah, I've got this. It's CN21 camouflage paint. You can use it on all sorts apparently, and it works on individuals with a silhouette of one or smaller. So yeah, basically, just covered in camo.
You're all camoed up.
Yeah.
Sarge, Happy, either one of you have any other type of camouflage?
You turn around.
No.
Sarge is attempting to do the same thing you were.
No, all good with. Happy just wants to be in white. He's like,
You know that like, that's what I do. I draw attention to myself.
yeah, I know that, Happy, but we try to at least keep you alive long enough for you to do something, And while LT's actually talking to him, he's actually inspecting the Happy's shoulder where he's got the 2 tusks still buried in his shoulder. I'm like, you got someplace to hang these, right? It's like, oh,
Well, of course.
good. And I'm like, I would recommend anybody with survival skill, we at least skin one of these cats and get ourselves some fresh meat here.
Bond's got a survival of a yellow and a green.
I have
Me
2
too.
green.
Roger that.
Or 2 yellows and a green.
Yeah.
You don't have to roll for it. If you guys can easily, you've got plenty of field expertise and such. You'd be able to skin him and carve off a hunk out of his leg or whatever.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we've got everybody taken care of. Happy, he's the only one that's actually injured from this, other than Strain, right?
Yeah, other than Strain, he's the only one that got attacked.
Okay, so yeah, we'll put
Doing pretty good.
All right, well, that's good. We prep trail rations. We get everybody back up and moving, I figure we need to probably move away from this location.
That could be beneficial.
Did the
Yeah, I'm like, there's what?
Did the dead troopers have a ID tag or anything I can grab?
Oh yeah, you guys got the Star Wars equivalent of dog tags.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. If these were the biggest bees here, we shouldn't have to worry. But if we are worried about more of these coming, I would presume they would go after the more easy target of the ship than the bodies that we have here.
Oh, completely understood. But we need to move on.
That or they'll go after the guys who smell freshly wounded, covered in blood.
That is true.
So,
sorry, just how does I've read conflicting things on how to get strain back after an encounter. Some people are saying it's your presence. Some people are saying it's 2 greens and every success is a.
It's cool or discipline.
Now, yeah, you can roll your cool or your discipline, and this isn't quite how the book does it, I don't think, but the way I do it, you roll your cool or your discipline.
Okay.
No difficulty to it. Successes give you that many points of wounds back, and advantages give you that many points of strain back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
all right.
The book says, I'll pull at it, and then we recover some wounds then. It says that successes recover only strain.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Very
there's a lot of things I do that are contrary to the way the book does it, and some things that just.
Oh, I'm very accepting.
So, all right.
How far off is the castle? Could we make it before nightfall? Or
The castle that you guys passed is about a half hour, 45 minutes back the way you came, and yeah, you could easily make it back there before nightfall.
Okay. It'd be enough time to let the blood dry. So, was there any other positions or anything else that we noticed when we passed by there? It was just that one structure. Wasn't any. We probably have to go back and search the area, but yeah.
Yeah, from following the tracks and all that, you guys were pretty preoccupied with following those. So that's just the one thing you saw off to what we were calling the west.
Okay. So yeah, Sarge, you got 19 tags plus the 2 pilots, right?
10-4.
Roger that. All right, let's move back to the castle. Then we'll set up a defensive position there for the night, and we'll try and pull together our next maneuvers for the next day.
All right. So you guys can make it back there and without any survival checks or anything to find your way back. I mean, you came through there, so you know the way back to it. You get your little camp set up and all that. You get through the night without any incident other than some discomfort from the wilds and the humidity and temperature of the jungle.
Okay. So yeah, we would have, but at least between myself and Sarge, we would have tried to kind of like rehashed a map of this location. And we've been here once before, just to try to figure out where our exit point would be.
Yeah.
All right.
Fallback spots, etc.
And
I'd be talking to him. I'm like, we seriously never ran across a Tuskcat the last time we were here. What the? Things do change quickly.
LT, with it, perhaps we should like kind of investigate the ship, see what it was that brought us down in the first place. You know, if there's the black box or something, because it's kind of weird that we're even here. So what caused the failure?
That brings up another question. Did we know where we were in transit to before we came down?
You were going to meet up with Star Destroyer Independence that wasn't too far from here, from Takodana, but it would probably take, if you guys were able to get a signal out to them, it'd probably take a couple of days for the ship to get here on sublight speeds.
Okay.
Get this radio working.
Yeah, we can double check on that. I think for now we're okay as in regards to being drug off by Tuskcat. So let's we make the trek back so that we can actually ID potential issues with what caused our turbulent re-entry to Takodana here.
All right, so yeah, the next morning you guys get up, you do your thing, you head back to the ship. Takes you about an hour to get back to it, and when you get back, there's a couple more bodies missing, but nothing looks fresh.
So is the bodies, are there drag marks again, or is this something else?
Yes, there are drag marks again. I won't make you roll for it. These ones lead off to the westernly.
It looks like we have another pack of cats, Lieutenant.
Roger that. All right. Which one of you's got any of you got computers or mechanics?
No.
All right. So LT basically gives instructions for so in order for us to avoid having any other unpleasantries with the local wildlife, he suggests that we either number one, either we bury all the bodies or we burn them. I'd rather not see too much else, but if we burn them, we're liable to draw attention to ourselves. So, the LT actually is like, I'm going to go in and see if we can't do something with the comms, and I'll need two of you to check the ship out to see if we've got any other, blaster fire, maybe engine malfunction, something of that nature. So.
We can start.
Sarge, I'll let you divvy that out.
We don't have to burn the bodies here.
No, we just need to. It's going to take us a while to drag them out of here, though. That's the problem. So that's why I'm pointing that out.
Well, I got time, boss.
All right. So, Sarge, make assignments, and the LT heads inside to look at the communications from the cockpit side.
All right. I'll help Happy with the bodies, and Bond and Les, you check out the ship, see what you can see.
Yeah, Bond's kind of like looking through, see what supplies we've got, see if there's any field packs or just anything that's salvageable from the wreck.
And I'm going over the ship with a fine-tuned comb to try and figure out what in the world brought us down.
Okay. First, we'll take care of the comms issue as the LT heads into the cockpit to try and figure out if the comms or anything are going to work. You can tell when you walk in that it's highly unlikely that anything's going to work in here. I mean, nothing's sparking, nothing's blinking. Everything looks pretty banged up, all the panels and everything.
Roger that. The ships would normally have some form of a relay that would allow them to contact the deeper into space and stuff. Does this one have like? Did this one come with like a long range transmitter on it?
You mean one that's like hardwired into it, or do you mean one
Yes,
that's like
one that's hardwired into it.
Yeah, everything in here is pretty well smashed and beat to hell. I mean, your panels are cracked. There's singe marks and such on them where they have at one point in time been burning or burnt up.
Okay. So on the transceiver, they have the actual transceiver part, and then the wiring that goes to the actual like the comm stations and stuff. So LT's actually up in the pulling panels down to see how far the burn went, how much of the wiring is shot, and whether or not the actual like antenna array was damaged in the crash.
Yeah.
Could I make some sort of roll? Because like, isn't there like some sort of emergency beacon or something that's in all the ships just for this exact scenario that they're out of contact but they can be located? Do you want a mechanics check or something to see if I'm aware of this?
You don't need to roll for it. You know that there is a standard issue, sort of like a fold out mobile, like little radar type of dish that is back with your equipment and such in the hold.
Okay, cool. I'd like to come across that when I'm looking through all the stuff then, if that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. As far as the one that's built into the ship, you can make a computers check.
Okay.
3 purple and 2 setback.
Okay. All right, 3. You said 3 purple and 3 setback?
2 setback.
2 setback. All right, roger that.
So 3 purple, 2 black.
Got it. All right. Yeah, it's a lot of pulling panels down and nothing there.
Yeah, it looks pretty well toasted. You actually, when you're pulling stuff apart to try and figure this out, you actually wind up pulling a couple of the wires that were actually still in decent shape. You actually wind up severing them when you're yanking shit apart to try and figure all this out.
Roger that. Okay. Yeah.
No.
So I'm like, I still need a squad name, but anyway, we're ship comms are toast. So anybody status report, Sarge? How you and Happy doing with the body extraction?
We have enough time to be done with that, or halfway?
You guys are probably about halfway finished with dragging out the bodies and dragging them to a safe distance away from where you guys are at. And I would like for you guys to make, you can either both do it separate or one of you do it and add a boost dice, but a perceptions check with 2 purple and 2 blacks.
2 eaches, I guess, if you want.
Yeah. Unless you've got a great perception, I say we do it together. Like we both roll separately.
Yeah, I got yellow and green.
And you're doing better than me. You want to take the boost, or do you want to both go separately?
Let's just do it separate. See how it goes.
Okay.
All right.
The guy
So-
with nothing gets it better.
Sarge is pretty well occupied with trying to get over the fallen logs and through the brush and whatnot with the bodies. And Happy, while doing the same, happens to notice that in the trees above you is movement. And you can see 3 dark shapes moving along through the branches. These things are, again, they're fairly large. They seem to have multiple appendages and a large central body that is probably probably 2 foot in diameter.
Okay.
There are 3 of them moving through the foliage and branches in the trees above you.
In typical happy form, into the Conley, tell Sarge, hey, we're being followed by something up in the trees. There's they got some, looks like some arms, some legs, body in the middle. I'm about to drop this body and shoot them.
I'm assuming I noticed at that point.
Yeah, as soon as he points it out to you, you can see these things up there above you. Now you guys can make another perceptions check to see if you can see them more clearly. You could make a zoology check to see if maybe you can figure out what they are just from the shadowed silhouette of them moving around in the treetops, or you could just attack them, whatever you want to do.
I'll radio that into LT and move back to the ship. We got movement.
Roger that, Sarge. I'm like, Bond, finish what up you're doing in the hold there, and will meet me back on top of the ship here. And I'm like, Les, whatever you got going on, making proper notations and join me up on this ship here. We're going to be, I think we got contact.
On my way, sir.
Roger that.
All right. And before we go too much further, I flipped the white earlier as the reasoning for Bond finding the transponder, the portable transponder.
Cool. Well,
So
in all that chatter, I heard nothing against what I said I was going to do.
All right. Let's see. They've got a melee, but not a range. So let's see. You're gonna fire on one of them that's up in the trees. So that's they're in the trees. That's 2 purple, and I'm gonna give you 2 black because they're in the branches, in the foliage, in the trees.
All right. Anything to help that? Nope. All right. Here comes 2 purples, 2 blacks, and then my ability.
Yep. All right. You managed to hit one of them, but you take some strain for the just nerves of the whole thing, of your adrenaline coming up and all that.
Oh yeah.
oh, wait. It's like it's one of those things where Happy leaves his comms open. I'm like, Happy, move on back. It's like know exactly what he's doing. It's like,
yeah.
What was the damage there?
It's 13. Piercing 1.
Nice. So that's All right, so you hit one, and you hear this god awful, just screeching, sort of almost like a combination of a screech and a howl, just sort of this as this whatever it is in the trees gets hit, and it leaps from one branch to the next. And I would like the two of you to roll cool for your initiative. Nice. All right. So
I'll spend a strain to add a success into that.
all right.
So do you want initiative from everyone, was it, or just the guys that are out there currently?
Just the guys that are out there currently.
Cool.
All right, so it comes up with PC, 2 NPCs, PC, and then NPC. So Happy Sarge, one of you gets to go again.
Did he kill that one, or was it?
No, it's still alive.
You can go first if you want to.
Okay, I will take that. So same thing, 2 purples, 2 blacks.
Yep. Are you firing at the same one or a different one?
I'm going to fire at the same one.
Okay.
You know what? I'll throw in trigger happy.
Nice. All
12
right,
points.
so you kill that one, and again another screech comes out, but it sort of tapers off as this body falls from the trees. And when it lands on the ground, just maybe 10 feet from you, you can see that this thing, like I said, it's got like a 2 to 2.5 foot diameter midsection, and it's got 8 long tentacle-like legs. This thing looks like an octopus, but it's covered in fur.
Yeah. Okay.
Response is, oh, we'll have to burn that one too.
And you've got a maneuver.
I aimed.
Oh, okay, you aimed. All right. So at that, at that, the 2 that are remaining, each one of them drops down out of the trees and tries to drop down on you to attack you guys. So that's, let's see here. All right. And go. The first one here is coming down on Sarge. 2 successes. So this massive furry or arboreal octopus drops down on top of you and like wraps its tentacle arms around you and begins to bite at you with its central beak. dealing bum, 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 5 damage. Yeah, 5 damage. And it's got Pierce 1.
Well, I have 6 soaks, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, lucky you.
Tasty.
And the second one, I'm gonna flip a dark side because this one's coming after Happy, and it's a little bit pissed that he just took out its mated pair. Miss horribly.
He got tangled up in the branches on the way down.
Yeah, it leaps down, and exactly that. It like bounces off a branch. It lands just like 3 feet from you and like upside down, like it lands on its head type of thing. And you can see this gnarly beak sticking out of the middle of it that's just sort of snapping in the air as its tentacled arms are waving all over the place as it's trying to right itself.
Perfect.
And then we got Sarge.
So this thing's latched onto me, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have you ensnared or anything like that. It's dropped down and it's holding on to you.
It's a Star Wars lurker from above type kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I need a brawl check to get it off of me. Or,
brawl check to get it off of you. It's got, let's see, that would be 1 purple, 2 reds.
one advantage.
You can use that advantage to give a point of strain, or cause strain because of my covering fire.
Yeah, just the struggle between it takes a strain.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we're back at the top of the round. We got one that's dead on the ground. We've got one that is maybe 3 feet from Happy on the ground, basically on its head. And we've got one that is on Sarge and gnawing on his armor.
Mind if I go? You mind if I go first, Sarge?
Go ahead.
Got it. I'm going to get out of I want to get into short range, so I'm not super penalized. Turn on auto fire.
Okay, so you back up a few feet from it.
So I'm at short range, so that's 2 purple. Or 1
yeah,
purple.
because you said you're activating your auto fire or whatever.
Right.
All right, so that would be 2 purple.
All right. Trigger Happy. Ooh.
A triumph along with a failure and 2 advantages. All right, so you miss, but what does your triumph and 2 advantages do for you?
My triumph is seriously, I click that thing on. I'm super excited. Just mowing the lawn, and not enough to kill it, but a small tree shoot just right through some of the branches, and it falls over, pinning this thing to the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I'll allow that. So yeah, now there's the one that's upside down on the ground. Just as it's like starting to right itself, a tree falls on it, and has got 3 of its legs pinned to the ground to where it can't move right at the moment.
And I'm causing such a huge distraction that Sarge is going to get. Sarge is, if he goes next, we'll get 2 boost die. They'll
All
give
right.
them to whoever goes next.
Okay. Now we're gonna jump back to the rest of the group here real quick before we move on any further with this little bit of combat, and that's the fact that you guys can hear all this ruckus going on in the air. You can hear it over your comms. What are you guys doing? What are you thinking?
If we hear that tree moving down, I'm like Bond, slide in over there, and he's sitting there with his macro binoculars, like seeing if he can identify exactly how far out in distance they are.
I'll spot for Bond and pick a target for him.
Yeah, Bond will have like tried to make his way on top of the ship.
All right. From the top of the ship, you can see where they're at. They're only maybe 150 feet out. So like there's enough foliage and stuff that when you're on the ground, you can't see them. But up in the air on top of the ship, you can pick out their forms in the distance.
Definitely see Happy. This is white blur going back and forth.
Bond will have taken the prone position and like kind of just trying to like pick a target.
All right. Well, you've got two targets. You've got one that a tree has fallen over on and it's on the ground, and you've got one that is latched onto Sarge.
Okay. Through his comms, Sarge is going to hear, "Stay still, Sarge. Try and push it away from you."
Oh God, oh God, oh God.
All right. Well, before you take your shot, we're going to have you take your shot at the end of the initiative order.
Okay. Well, just so I know, I've got people citing for me, giving me like like a couple of boost die maybe. And...
Yeah,
that's one of the things that LT has on his macro binoculars. He has a laser sight. And he's like, he's like measurements, distances out. I'm like, okay.
Yep. I'll give you a boost dice for having a spotter whenever it comes time.
Okay, I'll just be like that. I've always liked you, Sarge. You know that.
Okay, so
it gets a chuckle out of the whole squad. Everybody's like, "Oh man."
That's what LT and Bond are doing. Les, what are you doing?
He was doing the spotting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off.
Les is doing the spotting. Okay. All right. So let's see. Now it's their turns. The one on the ground, it's going to try and free itself from underneath this tree, which I'm going to right away say that it's going to be hard for it to do. And let's see. That's going to be athletics. All right. It manages to get itself free, but that's its action for this round, so it's freed. And it, for its maneuver, it begins to close its distance on Happy. So it's sort of scurrying along the ground coming after you. And the other one, going to make a brawl check to try and bite through the armor. And let's see, you don't have any
No defense. No.
no defense or anything?
No.
All right. Oh, all right. So it does manage to actually bite through your armor, and it gets a critical. Which, let me see, where did I put that? So that's let's say it's 1, 2, so it's 2, so it's 5, that's 7 damage total. before your soak. It's got Pierce 1. And now to roll for its crit. 25. Discouraging Wound. Flip 1 light side destiny point to the dark side destiny point. Oh, that's
I'll take that.
that's crap. No,
I'm not
offense,
chuckling.
but-
No laughing. Not laughing. Not laughing.
You lucky SOB. That's crap. All right. So that's both of them. Sarge, it's your go, and then Bond, it's you.
Sarge, don't forget you've got 2 boost die.
Yep. Due to getting bit and infuriating me, can I get an extra boost die trying to get this thing off of me?
You can spend a light side for it.
Not worth. Okay. There's still 2 red and a purple.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's 2 red and a purple.
All right. 1 success.
Oh, nice.
All right, so you managed to do exactly as Bond has said. You're pushing this thing out away from you, and you get it off of you.
I'll just move away from it, so I'm out of Bond's sight line there.
All right, Bond, this thing has just been shoved out into the air off of Sarge, and he's taking steps backward. So you're at long range, so it's going to be 3 purple. It is no longer latched onto Bond, so you don't have to worry about the setbacks for that, but you do have a setback because of the foliage and stuff in between you and it, but you get a boost dice because you've got a spotter.
Well, actually, Sean, I hate to be a Poindexter, but I've got something called Brace, which allows me to remove 1 rank of 1 setback dice added by environment. So the foliage isn't a problem.
Perfect.
In your face.
Can you smell that? Can you smell that?
I was going to use a light side point if it was still clamped onto Sarge, but seeing as it's not, I don't need to. Okay, Sarge is hit. Good shot, Sarge. Taking my shot. Oh, you!
Oh,
Nice.
Dang.
Nice.
you leave some big craters around.
So that's, let's see, 11 plus, so that's 14 damage?
You actually have another advantage because I'm spotting for you, and that's part of my Trailblazer
Oh,
thing.
crikey, yeah, I forgot to roll that 3rd blue dice.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Come on, if I can get an advantage, that's a crit. Oh, sorry, crap. Let me do that again. Let me clear everything.
No, you have another advantage. You actually have an advantage from me
Oh.
outside of the blue dice.
Oh, in that case, that would have been the 3rd advantage then.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's just okay, Sean. Just let me narrate this because I don't really think we need to roll dice for damage, do we?
No, not really.
Okay, so Sarge is kind of wrestling with this big beast, and he just hears through his comms like, push it away from you. He kind of somehow manages to launch it into the air, and then boom, this just kind of blast of light just takes its head clean off it while it's in midair, and it just kind of collapses, blood spraying everywhere all over Sarge.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, you hit this thing, and it's when you think of an octopus, I mean, it doesn't really have a head. Its whole body is its head. So you hit this thing, and it just explodes. Tentacles sort of go flying all over the place. Blood sprays everywhere.
Just liquefied.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So your entry wound is the small point. It sort of goes in the beak, and the bulbous body and head of this thing just explode.
Everyone will hear through the comms who said no disintegrations.
Don't be looking over here.
I thought we were having calamari for supper.
Arboreal calamari. Okay. You prepping?
Yeah, these things are kind of like a cross between an octopus and a spider.
tasty.
We scrape something off the floor if we're hungry.
Right.
Fire it up.
All right, but we're going to go ahead and throw Bond into the bottom of the arc there because he's in there now. And we're back around to the top of the round. So we've got one that got shot out of the air, one that's on the ground that's freed itself from the tree that is scuttling after Happy. Sarge manages to free himself from this other one just as it gets blown apart and disintegrated, basically. Les is spotting for Bond as he's taking pot shots from a long distance away. And the LT who's just sort of standing back like, yep, my guy's got this handled.
he does one other thing. He's actually doing a, like, just keeping an eye on the our rear for anything that might be popping up from the back.
Okay.
Sarge wants some revenge, so he's a good shot, Bond. Now it's my turn. Turn around, attempt to shoot the other one.
Yeah, it's scuttling along the ground. It's closed its distance between it and Happy. There's about 2 feet between him and it looks like it's getting ready to spring up off the ground after him.
So, what's my difficulty?
Well, with where you're standing at, unless you move first.
That was my aim, but okay.
Well, unless you move first. I mean, aiming you can do, that's no problem. But unless you were to move first, Happy is between you and it. So that's going to add a setback. So you're at short range. So it's 1 purple and 1 setback. So 1 purple, 1 black.
Yeah, I'll move around the side so I won't have that black.
Okay.
And I'll turn on my auto fire.
All right, so that makes it 2
Yep.
purple.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your auto fire doesn't kick in, but you do manage to hit this thing good.
12 damage.
All right. You've got 1 pierce, you said, or was it 2?
Neither.
Neither? All right.
It's just flat 12.
So all right, so you nail this thing and you actually take off a couple of its tentacles. So you step around to the side and just and just blow off 3 of the tentacles off this thing, and it screeches out in pain, and it continues to, instead of springing up like it was originally looking like it was going to do, it continues to shuffle along the ground, scurry along, and just right past Happy's legs, and looks as if it's coming towards you, but you can't quite be sure if it's coming towards you or not. And that's it. It's Happy or Bond. We've got 2 PC slots.
Cool. I'll take the shot at him then.
All right.
So it's still just 2 purples, right?
Yeah, with as close as it is to you now, with it coming along and scurrying right along past your legs, yeah, it's going to be 2 purple.
Is that with the auto fire still on?
With your auto fire on, it's going to be 3, unless you want to take a couple of steps off to the side or a couple of steps away from it. Then
Yeah, I'll take a couple steps away from it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and describe.
A couple of steps.
Go ahead and describe to me how you decimate this one.
Step back, crouch down. This is gonna hurt. Just first one pops it and it falls as the other 2 shots just fly right over it. This thing is smoking, and I'm like, Yeah.
All right.
Calm down. Calm down.
Sounds good.
Hearing the happy dance.
LT, make me a perceptions check.
Under that.
2 purple.
2 purple.
And 1 setback from the sound of the gunfire around you.
All right. Purple. And let me check on one thing while we're in here. Yeah, okay. 2 purple. 2 purple, 1 setback, correct?
Yep, 2 purple, 1 black.
Yeah, just double check my perception. Okay. Okay. I take another point of strain, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Point of strain. What's the triumph do for you? Or do you want me to tell you what you missed?
You go ahead with the triumph. I would figure the failure is kind of like he may have actually like the ship's kind of at an angle, and he might have actually like slipped a little bit while he was turning around doing his visuals, and like so he just barely catches himself. But then yeah, I'll give you the triumph. So.
Oh, you can tell me what happens with the triumph. I'll tell you that you missed something walking up on you.
Roger that. Yeah. So actually, missed whatever was coming up. But LT actually, when he kind of loses his balance, he actually knocks a panel off the top of the ship, so it just slides right down into the foliage, wherever on the back end of the ship, and it's enough to startle whatever was creeping up, but not enough to like I guess not enough to give it away. So
okay.
He still hasn't seen it, but it's enough that maybe it stopped whatever it was doing, and however close it was advancing.
All right. So as you all of a sudden, like this panel where you're standing gives and slides off the back of the ship, you hear, "Oh, hey, I haven't shot or thrown anything at you. What are you doing throwing stuff at me?"
And it's like, "Whoa, hold it right there!" And just about as quick as he's got a hold of his balance, he's got his pistol in hand, and like, best not be sneaking up on people.
He says, "Well, honestly, we're not doing much sneaking," and you can see that there's 2 other guys that are about 10 feet behind them. All 3 of them are wearing like brown trench coat type of look, with shirt, boots, and whatnot. They give you the idea of scoundrel type of character, maybe a space pirate type of thing. But they just, hey, we heard all the gunfire and everything going on, and we're just out here trying to figure out what the hell is happening.
Right. So I just advise you to keep your distance right there. And as he says that, he flips his comms open, and I'm like, Lucky Squad, report in.
Sergeant Happy here. We're heading back. We're okay. Minor damage.
Checking to see if there's more, Lieutenant.
Understood. And
securing the area. And I'm just kind of like looking, like just kind of panning my scope around, just like looking around where the boys are coming back from, just to make sure that there's nothing else.
Oh yeah, you don't where they're at, having just fought with these things, you don't see anything else out there. And while all this is going on, the one that's been doing the talking is, we've got a place just sorry, just north of here, a ways, and he points off back behind him. He says, and you can hear all the gunfire and everything from there. And, the boss just sent us out here to find out what the hell happened and what the hell's going on. And there was, you guys seem to be having a bit of bad luck. We heard something come down yesterday, but it was close to nightfall, and
at that point, that's where the LT's like, oh, well, you must have us confused with a different falling trajectory. Then I think you got your times off.
It is possible.
Is it other than those three? Is there anybody else around them, or is it just those three?
It's just those three that you can see.
Okay.
And you can see that they are all armed. They're all wearing blaster pistols on their hip. And the two in the back, they've got rifles slung over their shoulders. But hands are nowhere near the weapons. I mean, they're not trying to pose any threat to you or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the one says, people crash around here quite often. Now, whether it's because you guys shoot them down, or because the rebels shoot them down, or whoever, whatever, or beef between thieves or whatnot, we've got a place that's just off that way, about a click or so. Be happy to help you out in any way we can. I mean, like I said, the boss sent us out here, heard all the gunfire and everything going on. And if this is your ship, which, no offense, but with the way y'all are dressed, I'm guessing it is, looks like you could use all the help you can get.
And LT doesn't say anything over, to these guys. He flips comms to just the squad channel, and is like, you guys, anybody else come up with anything else? We may need to negotiate our way through this to possibly get a transport off this planet. So,
well, LT, I found an emergency communications beacon. We might want to activate that, see if we can't get in touch with the destroyer. Let them know where we are.
Roger that.
Program.
Sarge, Happy, take a very discreet return to the ship, and identify that beacon. Set it up on the south side of the ship where you're coming from, and then join us on the north side of the ship when you get done with that. And Lieutenant's like, well, yeah, we could use some help. And one of the things that the LT is actually doing is actually looking at the trails running to the other side of the ship where these guys came from, because we had some drag marks and whatnot. And he's attempting to identify and see if we actually had like another set of animals, or if it was more maybe these individuals were coming and stripping our corpses off of her.
Okay, so you're trying to
fallen brother.
You're trying to see these other drag marks, see if they were dragged away by a humanoid or another animal.
Yeah, just I remember somebody Les said something about it before, and I don't remember the specifics on it. So it's a memory recall thing. So
okay, I'm not going to make you roll for it. You when you guys first notice these things, you notice that there are more paw print type of tracks along with them.
Okay. All right. So
these paw prints, however, they're similar to the ones that you saw before, but they're larger.
Things only get bigger in the jungle. So, all right. In comparison to the direction that they pointed their station or hideout was, how's that in relation to the drag marks and stuff? They actually seem like they're more like to the northwest or something, or
Yeah, the drag marks go more northwesternly than north where they point from.
okay. All right. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take, and I switch over to comms, and we'll take point, and with and I'm like, Les, you and Bond pull up the mid, and Happy and Sarge, once you guys get done setting that beacon, I want you to pull up the rear, and keep sharp eyes out. We're good. And so the LT actually slides down the side of the ship and holsters his pistol and walks up and is like, yeah, we'll take your escort back.
All right. I know the boss wouldn't be too happy if we came back and told him you guys were out here, but we didn't come back with you guys to give you a hand or whatnot. We may be may not necessarily be law abiding, but we're not bad guys.
Yeah. Law is all about who sets the law. I mean, just as much as we are out here. I mean, yeah, we only have jurisdiction where the rebellion and the rebels are concerned. So unless you happen to be on the Empire's hot item list, so.
Well, I'm not going to deny or confirm any of that. Just simply the fact that we ain't rebels.
Well, that's a good start. Let's be on our way.
It's good. Well, the three of you, or are there more of you?
Yeah,
I see. I see you cocking your head occasionally, like you're talking to somebody. So I don't know if you're talking to just these two here, or if you got more out there, or what. I mean, I'm going to assume that there's more out there because all the gunfire wasn't coming from just right here. But
I mean, LT looks back at the Bond. I mean, he creates quite a ruckus with that thing.
Yeah, Bond, you'll hear Bond through your comms just saying, "Do you want me to follow you at discreet distance, LT?"
Roger that. And I'm like, well, we've been trying to take care of our own dead. So yeah, it could be confusing as far as numbers, but we're here. We can go.
all right. And he begins to walk back the direction he came. He says, "Follow us."
Yeah, and like I said, we give enough pace and distance where you can still see the LT, and he's not moving expressly very quick, but stays up with the three guys in the coats. So
LT, just kind of walk with heavy feet, leave a clear trail.
He doesn't need to leave a clear trail. I'm on it.
Right.
Yep, and yeah, so he's heading off, and doing his usual, surveying the area and checking things out while they're walking, occasionally asking questions about because LT doesn't seem to remember there being anything to the north the last time they were here. So, or maybe we didn't go this far north. So,
Well, you guys recognize the architecture and stuff of those ruins as being architecture from the planet Takedana.
Oh,
but
okay,
you don't
okay, gotcha.
necessarily. It's not the factor that you were right there at that same spot.
got it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, he's dodgy. He says, no, the big popular place around here, or at least on planet, is Maz's palace. But I mean, that's even by speeder or ship or whatever. That's a good hour from here.
Mm.
We're kind of secluded out here all by ourselves.
Yeah, I get that feeling. And he's checking up in the trees and stuff after seeing the the big octopus things running through the trees and stuff. I'm like,
oh yeah, and you see the two guys that are with them. They're doing the same thing. Like they're constantly going from scanning the horizon and the area around them to scanning the trees, and
it's like, oh,
but it takes you a good half hour, 45 minutes or so to make it to where they're going. And when you get there, you can see this place matches the architecture of those ruins. So it's obviously very old, and it's it reminds you of a medieval style like fortress.
uh-huh.
Like, I mean, is
it more wood and stone, or is it like, I mean, is it which more wood than stone, or more stone than wood?
It's stone.
Okay.
The doors are steel. The walls are stone block.
But definitely better upkept than the ruin we passed by earlier.
Oh yes, much by far. You can tell that some of the stonework here is extremely old, but some of it is Duracrete, so it's basically it's concrete replacement.
Right.
The Durasteel blast door type of doors heading in. So as you guys approach, he waves up and he says, "All right, Dell, let me open the door. We're coming in."
And so, did we notice the sentries on the wall then, or is this more like a camera type kind of thing he's waving at?
As soon as he waves and says something, you see two guys stand up from behind the buttress type of deal, and he waves down, and you see that one of them turns around and waves down inside of the complex, and shortly after the door begins to slide off to the side.
Right.
And as you guys head in, you can see that this place is got a rather large, I guess you'd call it a courtyard slash landing pad.
Right.
I mean, it's this guy's got whoever this guy is that he called boss, and they've got a small fleet of ships in here. Just from what you can see offhand, there's two YT-2400 light freighters. There are 3 cloak-shaped fighters, 2 Z-95 headhunters, and 3 BLT S3 Y-wing attack bomber fighters.
So as the 3 of them approach the we're approaching the LT as on his comms. He's like, we got too high, and the old structures They fortified an old structure, and he, as he gets up there, he like basically just taps the one guy he's been chatting with. He's like, let me just wait for the rest of my squad here, and and he just basically stops there in the doorway and just surveys the whole thing, making notes of where everything is, and it's like, so.
Yeah, you tap him and say that, and he just, yeah, not a problem. We'll wait.
Would any of these ships match, or their weapon capabilities match what happened to our ship, or not?
Oh yeah, any one of these ships would be capable of downing your transport. The only thing is that when you guys gave your ship a look over, when you guys come to and were trying to figure out what happened, there was no blaster scorching on the outside of the ship.
Mm.
Okay.
It sounds like something internally then we missed. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think we forgot to do that mechanics check earlier, so I'm just going to say outright that you guys were able to figure out that it was equipment malfunction, basically catastrophic equipment malfunction that caused this accident.
Man, preventative maintenance, gentlemen, preventative maintenance.
Did you actually say that? Does LT actually say that?
No, that would have been earlier. You would have brought that up, and I'm like, ah.
I know, but then Les would probably respond, "Yeah, that's exactly why we have a medic in our little group here."
Well, you did. It just he didn't survive.
Anyway,
but,
all right. Like I said, LT's just waiting on everybody else coming in.
Yeah, you're standing there waiting for the rest of the guys, and you see all these ships, but you see that there's enough space for at least 3, maybe 4 more ships, fighter-sized ships to land.
Okay, so they have the freighters off on one side and the fighters on the other, or are they pretty much still like kind of intermixed?
They've got the 2 freighters sort of sitting back to back in the center, with all the fighters sort of lining around the edges.
Okay. All right.
As you're standing there waiting for everyone to show up, you hear a very familiar sound. You hear that wah of TIE fighter engines.
And I'm like, that's great.
Over the backside of this fortress, you see 2 TIE fighters coming. Like they come over the top edge of it in preparation for landing. But the one thing that stands out for you right away, they're not gray and black TIE fighters, standard issue TIE fighters. These things have been painted red.
I kind of wondered. It's like, yeah, okay.
And they come and they set down in the open space, and as the pilots hop out, and you can see one of them's this extremely attractive strawberry blonde, and the other one's this grizzly looking guy. They hop out and walk on into the stronghold.
And are they actually wearing like the actual TIE fighter suits? Or are they wearing the some other flight suits?
They're not wearing flight suits at all, but you notice the helmets that they're wearing are, well, like the girl when she gets out, she's got on a TIE pilot's helmet,
right?
But not the rest of the uniform.
Uh-huh.
They're all wearing like these brown trench coat looking garb.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, when he hops out, he's actually wearing like what you see a rebel pilot wearing the rebel helmet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, Mike. Yeah, you're like you got quite a collection here. You guys do more. You do more flying than anything else.
So we've got all sorts of business that goes on. But yeah, most of our stuff that we get into happens off surface. Like I said, we ain't got no problems with the Empire, or haven't had any problems with the Empire. We're not rebels.
Oh no.
But we're not necessarily law-abiding as far as the Empire goes.
Well,
Yes,
like I said, it's all.
That's the best part about being out here on TAC, neutral system.
Yep. No, completely understand. He's waiting for, you know, acknowledgement from the squad as they're coming in. So
yeah, they'd probably be catching up after following with a discreet distance and all that by now.
You'll hear Bond over the comm say, "LT, that's Imperial property. Stolen our ships. Want me to hang back outside just in case as backup?" I don't think all of us going in here is a particularly good idea, to be honest. These guys, I don't trust them.
Well,
they have our property.
Yeah, they've got a lot of property here. I'm like, yeah, Sarge, Happy, you guys, you stay put with Bond back there. Les, join me up here for a minute. We'll take care of things from the inside for a little bit, and we'll see what we can work out. Find yourself a good perch and secure yourself.
Sir, I have one question.
Roger that.
If they're going to give us communications with the Star Destroyer, where exactly will they be expecting us to be picked up at? They probably will not wish it to be near the compound, if at all.
Roger that. That's why the beacon. They activated the beacon before they showed up. Before I had Sergeant and Happy activate that beacon before they left the ship.
And that's why you're the lieutenant. Fantastic.
And you see the LT go up there and wipe his mask. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we're good to go. The other, my other squad mate, he doesn't particularly do well in confined areas, so he'll hang back.
Well, it's no problem. You're more than welcome to hang out here. I mean, what's ours is yours as far as lodging.
Well, it's appreciated, and once Les is in step beside the LT, they basically just walk our way into the compound.
All right, yeah. Him and he leads you in alone. The two guys that come with him, they stay out with your guys out here.
Mm-hmm.
But you walk in, and it's sort of a lack of a better term, mood lighting type of lighting in here. It's not dark, but it's not brightly lit, and it's got kind of a seedy cantina / barracks sort of look to it. And
just tell me that we don't have the Jabba's palace music going on in here. We'll be all right.
No, there's no there is music, like somebody's got a radio or something going, but no Jabba's palace type no.
Okay, Mos Eisley, cantina trash thing going on here. I'm like, hey, what the heck you got playing in here, man? Just jeez.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, yeah, I was like, okay.
But along the back of this main room, you see a middle-aged human, sort of short, sandy blonde hair, dressed like the rest of them. Got a trench coat type of deal on. He's got to be a gunslinger or something. He's got pistols strapped all over him. He's sitting all lounged back in this big chair and just sort of watching everybody as they're doing things. But the main thing that sticks out to you the most about this guy is that laying on the floor on each side of this chair that he's in are two massive Nexu. And they're just curled up, just snoring away. I mean, it looks like the way they're curled up, they look like dogs laying at his feet, but they're sort of a purr type of growl as they're both just knocked out, laying there.
Does their paw size match the bigger paw size that we saw at the ship?
Could easily.
Those could be the beasts that dragged off the soldiers in this direction, sir.
And LT nods in Les's direction. Keep aware. It's like not having a real definitive way of like relaying information back to the guys on the outside, but you know, hopefully Les's communication is such that they can pick it up. So, yeah, the LT gets within probably about 20 feet of these critters, and the gunslinger kicks back, and he just, you know, he kind of cocks his head to the side and looks at the the Nexu and is like,
He says, "Oh, you don't worry. These two, they're big old kittens. 'Cause they ain't gonna bother you none, not unless told to otherwise." Says, "Well, gentlemen, at least I'm assuming you're gentlemen. I mean, it's hard to tell underneath all that plastoid and that helmet." Says, "I'm Hask. I run things around here."
Things seem to be going pretty well for you, judging by the small fleet you got out there.
Oh, we do pretty well. I'm gonna guess that you boys ain't doing too well yourselves, though. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, we had a slight. Well, I wouldn't call it slight. I had a tragic failure on board our transport over to Takadona. So, yeah.
And your gentleman that retrieved us from the woods did inform us that you would be angry if you did not bring us back with us. Bring us back with him. That was what he wanted to say.
Oh, well, I mean, he exaggerates, but at the same time, I mean, he ain't lying. I knew you guys were here. I heard the gunfire as everybody else did. But, I mean, I may not have been happy that he came back with nobody, but I wouldn't have been angry. I mean, hey, if you didn't want to come back, you didn't want our help, you didn't want our help.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, in regards to help and such things, yeah, we have, yeah, the Star Destroyer Independence is in orbit over top here. I need a radio comm for them to come pick up the remainder of my squad up.
Now that can be difficult.
Well,
I mean, it's not that we don't have radios or anything. We've got radios. We can radio out. It's getting signal back. Says unless we allow the signal to come or go, I mean, ain't nobody radioing nowhere. And I mean, granted, you boys are. I mean, obviously, at least you look like Imperials. I'm sure you noticed some of our equipment around here isn't
standard issue.
Your standard civilian issue.
Oh, it's obvious. we understand the operation you're running here, and you know, and as I was telling, and I'm like, the poor fellow didn't even give me his name, but yeah, as your escort here was saying, I mean, we understand you run a business, you got a business running here, and to my knowledge, we don't have any beef or contracts with you guys, so I understand your concern. If nothing else, you have a radio that you could possibly lend us. We will coordinate efforts from a different location. When the ship went down, we lost pretty much all our comms, so at least all our off-world comms. So.
Oh no, I'm sure you boys don't go out without some type of backup distress beacon or something. So I'm sure you guys have set that up somewhere, unless of course it was destroyed when you crashed.
Well, if you'd seen that ship, it's amazing that. And I look over to Les, and I'm like, it was amazing the three of us even made it out. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was a mess. I'm like the comm center and the pilots, and it was a mess. Anyway, yeah, I don't.
All right. I would like for you to make a deception check.
Okay.
Let me find my sheet here. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see, it's upgraded. That's 1 purple and 2 reds.
1 purple and 2 reds. That's beautiful. So let's see. How do we? Is it just an up arrow to flip it?
You just click on the actual.
On the actual token?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So,
seeing as how you said that just the 3 of us and our comms are destroyed, which the comms being destroyed isn't a complete lie, but the 3 of us, that's a blatant lie.
well, I mean,
Well, there are 3 of us that made it out alive.
Yeah, but he's saying just the 3 of us.
so
And an advantage. Okay.
so we find ourselves kind of at a stalemate. He doesn't completely trust me, and and I'm like, I get the feeling that there probably is something being held back on his end too, and I'm like, well, in all fairness, your man over there said that you guys couldn't have checked on us sooner because it was dark, and we had easily 5 or 6 hours worth of light once we came to, and that ship's probably been there for a little longer than that. So,
well, see, now we've caught each other. Says, yeah, my man lied to you when he showed up. He didn't tell you the whole truth. Just like you're not telling me the whole truth. There's 5 of you that are out walking around out here. Not just 3. 5 of you made it out that ship.
So there are 5. You didn't think that the 3 of us were taking on those tree climbing octopus things, do you?
Oh, you guys ran into. Damn it, where'd that page go? You guys ran into the Cholganas.
Well, not sure exactly who ran into who. Really haven't gotten the details back from the others that were out there.
Those things hunt from the treetops.
Yeah.
They don't hit the forest or the jungle floor all that often. Some nasty little bastards.
I'm like,
Lost a few men to them over the time we've been here.
yeah, I could understand that. You know, I mean, yeah, it's been a busy day. You know, last night we tangled with the Tusker cats, and this morning with the Chiganas. Yeah, it's been fairly busy.
I tell you what, I lied to you. You lied to me. We're on even ground. You call your
I'll take
boys.
that.
You call your boys on in here. Enjoy some drink. Have a good time this afternoon. We'll talk about how we're gonna get you guys off this rock, or you can ignore it and go back to your ship and hope that your fellas come and pick you up.
So,
Both options suck, sir.
Roger that.
It's as if you're worried about me doing anything stupid, I've got 30 men and women here, aside from myself, that are in my employ. It's as if we wanted to do anything stupid, we could have a long time ago.
Well, that's understandable. I'm just curious about how many other groups in the area would be interested in a crash transport, Imperial transport. So, yeah, wondering how many other groups would be moving back in on that location. So, you know, and I'm like, I point to the two next to I'm, some of our fallen comrades were dragged off by probably something about that size, and so,
Well,
you know, outside of just disposing of the bodies and whatnot.
don't hate me too much, but that is possible. It was one of these two, if not both of them, that took away a couple of your buddies. I'll let them out each night so that they can do their thing, do their hunting, and get their food. They come back each morning. So
no concern. We're just trying to keep track of our losses, and we're trying to prevent further issues with the, you know, we just like to make it back. That's all.
I can understand that. We all go out on our missions and do what we got to do and hope we get home.
Yeah. So, yeah, let me speak with what remains of my platoon here, and see if our situation, they tend to see things a little bit differently every once in a while. So let me get their perspective on things, and now we'll come back. We won't be far. You can be able to spot us from the wall.
All right. He looks at the guy who brought you in with him. He says, Shiv, take him on back outside. Let him talk to his men. So if they want to come in, tell Dell to open the doors and let them in. So he gets up and he looks at you and he extends a hand out to you as to shake your hand. Do you take it?
Yeah, I'll shake his hand.
All right. He gives you a good strong handshake, and he says, "Until then, I'm going to be enjoying a drink." And
all right, Hask.
He turns around to walk off, and as he starts walking away, he gives a whistle, and both those Nexu just perk up quicker than quick and up on their feet, following behind him.
So.
And his man Shiv
Mhm.
walks you outside, and just like when you guys were coming in, he hollers up. He says, "Dell, open the door. Let them out." He says, "And as long as they come back peacefully without their guns drawn, open the door and let them in." And
So-
as the door is opening, Shiv, the guy you were talking to earlier that walked you in, he says, "Well, hope you come back in."
Well,
Is there anything deceptive when he says that or not?
You let's see. You can roll a streetwise versus 2 purple.
What is streetwise based off? It is based off cunning or
Yes.
yeah, it is cunning.
2 purple, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 successes, 2 threat.
My dice roller's not wanting to work.
Cooperate.
It won't show me what was rolled.
2 success, 2 threat.
There we go. All right. The threat is just going to be strain for yourself from nerves from all this going on. I mean, just the 2 of you standing in the middle of all these people with these big ass Nexus laying right in front of you and all that for most of it. The success is that you can tell that he seems to mean what he says,
Okay.
or at least he believes what he's saying is true.
Okay.
Mhm.
The door slides open, and you're free to exit.
So yeah, I'm walking in step with Les here, and I calm up the other. I'm like, so we meet on Bond, and he's find my way out there to where Bond is, taking a kind of an indirect approach to make sure I don't completely give away his location.
Okay.
He's off to the side of like the front doors, like in the foliage. It's like hunkered down, camoed up.
Yeah. So, Sarge, happy? How close are you?
Oh, we're not too far. Just talking to these guys we met out here.
Always closer.
Roger that. Yeah, we got an interesting situation here. So, let's just say that we're slightly outgunned. Should we decide to pull anything off inside?
Never.
Yeah, that's about it's about 6 of them to 1 of us. So,
Perfect.
I know you like those odds, Happy, but honestly,
You saying you can't take your 6?
I'm more worried about the next
I'm just
than I am them.
I thank you, Les. We're getting to that. Yeah, he's got some pretty large guard cats in there. How do you think we'll fare for another night out here? And you guys see anything on the way in that we could use as a defensible position to hold up for another night?
Can I use knowledge warfare? My warfare to see if anything looks defensible?
You're muted.
Yes. Yes, you can.
What's the difficulty of that?
1 purple.
What do you have for ranks in that?
2.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm one
Let's see.
one green. I was gonna help you if you needed.
Like, I am your stereotypical, like, in the movies, your dumb jock. There are 2 things that I do, and I'm really good at those 2 things.
I shoot things and I know about shooting things.
Wash. Oh. Nothing.
Bond would like to suggest that, like, so it seems these guys are just like smugglers and thieves. They've got imperial property and they should not be allowed to carry on with their nefarious enterprise. I suggest we head back and make a defensive perimeter around the crash site while we wait for backup. And could I make a warfare check as well, just to see if, you know, like we could create a decent perimeter around the ship? No, I've got like half decent. I've got rank 1 in warfare.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2 purple because that's not right in front of you. You're trying to operate off of memory of what's back around the ship.
Okay. So success and 2 threats. Could I say that, yeah, it's possible, but it's not ideal. The threats being it's not an ideal defensive position, but we could rig something up.
Yes, most definitely. Most of what you'd be able to rig up as far as defense would be ignitable wood. It's in the middle of the forest or the jungle. I mean, you do have the ship that you could try and hide in, but the ship's torn apart and got multiple holes to where you could get in and out.
Right. So as they're going through their different things, I bring up, you know, the last time we were here, we were hunting rebels. You guys remember Maz? Her place isn't too far from here. I'm just seeing it as we don't have too many allies in our current situation here. We basically have to make do with what we got. I'm not sure. The Sarge, the beacon, you guys get it set up okay?
Yeah, it's up and running.
All right.
I think our best option if we are to make something defensible is to have somewhere where the ground is neutral. Neither place here is neutral.
Right. Right. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah. All right. The other concern I have is whether or not the Starship Independence is still in range of that beacon. So let's say we give it a couple of days and see if we can't get a reception back. And in the meantime, we find ourselves a location to hold up in, and you know, we'll make things work. I
believe they're coming for us. They would have had our last point of reference when they lost contact in space. I'm sure someone will be coming, but yeah, I think we should just hold up. I don't trust these smuggler types at all, considering they've commandeered some of our TIE fighters. They're thieves at best. Ruffians.
Well, I mean, you could say commandeering, but you know how the underground markets work, man. Manufacturer could have sold those things off. Right now we don't have any way of proving what they did with them. They do have them, that's true, but we don't have any way of proving how or they acquired them or anything else.
Well, if they bought them on the black market, then that's fine. But that's just a waste of credit because they don't belong to them. That's Imperial property. We need to take it back.
The other thought is they do have. I mean, they have a freighter and a couple other things that are big enough that we could get off planet in. But outside of giving
strike a deal to borrow one of their freighters. That way we could leave planet and rendezvous ourselves with this destroyer and then come back. finish the job.
So who's going to fly?
That's always, yeah. my 300 credits ain't gonna get us far, but
Wait a second. Is that lieutenant money? 200 credits?
that's yeah, a slightly extended pay. We should have hazardous duty pay after this for sure. It might be like 150 credits as opposed to the 100. So anyway, yeah, Sarge, Happy, why don't you can working your way back out, blazes a trail somewhere, probably east of the wreckage, and see what we can find as far as defensible. Bond, you wait until they've given you a fairly decent head start. Give them about 100 feet or so, and you follow out after them. And Les and I will bring up the rear. And the LT just basically turns around and he gets eye contact with Dale, and he like gives him a hand salute type kind of thing, and he starts trekking off after his men. So,
LT, is it worth leaving a set of eyes on this place?
Sure, I agree with Bond. I think I should stay here and cover our trail when you leave.
Well, then I don't like leaving just one man behind. So if you guys Les and Bond, if you find yourself a different, more secure position, you keep eyes on them, keep in radio contact, and I will, the LT follows up after Sarge and Happy.
Roger. I'll try and look for a big ass tree that looks relatively easily climbable if there's one around, Sean.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of trees, and they range in size. I mean, you've got your typical tree the size of an oak or anything like that, compared to, and then you've got things that are the size of friggin' redwoods.
And I calm Sarge and like let him know hey, we need to make it look like there's 5 of us leaving in this group. So, bumping into bushes and pushing things over every once in a while to make it look like there's more of us moving than there are. So,
Happy, you heard him.
Yeah. Okay.
I could stumble through the forest.
My warfare? No. I could be like, yeah, tactics. Good. I can do that.
All right. Yeah. So you're leaving 2 guys behind, and the rest of you are taking off?
Yeah, we're probably going to be, I wouldn't say we're probably more than, maybe a kilometer off, but definitely east of the crash site. So
how about where we fought the kitties?
Well, the kitties are actually, they were south of the wreck.
Oh.
Very defensible position since we did so well in removing them.
Like, if we can get them down in there, that was a good place for us.
Oh yeah, there's a nice kill zone there for sure. That's going to give us what, an hour and a half. We're looking at what, roughly a 2-hour, maybe 2.5-hour trek back to the covered ravine.
From here, yeah, it'd be about 2.5 hours.
So yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just, we didn't scout much past the ravine, so I give.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
If we're being honest, we can fight close quarter out here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We haven't scouted this area probably as much as they have.
Roger that. So yeah, we radio back, and I'm like, we'll get back, and we'll drop you the coordinates for the ravine. You remember where we knocked off the Tuskers?
All right.
And
How long have you guys been traveling?
how long have we been traveling?
Yep. How long have you been walking before you radio back to them to tell them that?
Well, it would have been like probably within probably 15 or 20 minutes, is, you know, because LT was like, let's head off east, and Happy's like, well, why don't we just go back to where the Tuskers were? And we're like,
Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah. They hear you and are able to respond in turn.
okay. And so as we're passing by the wreckage of the ship, we double check the beacon to make sure it's still up and operational. And I
We'll
like,
take it with us.
yeah, we could relocate it. We're going to need a different pickup zone. So
And if we leave it here, they might destroy it.
no, the other option would be to like disguise it or bury it somewhere where, you know, only the bare minimum is still available. So let's take off. Yeah,
You think they have
pack it back up.
You think they have
And,
the equipment to track it themselves?
Not sure. There's a possibility, but they would have to have the transponder frequency. So it's like I said, it's a possibility. And we have everything else of value out of the ship anyway, unless they want to come and salvage armor, I guess. Pocket up with grenades and whatever else you got, and the LT stops for a minute and he's like, that brings up a good point. He's like, we've got everything else. Let's take a moment. Let's rig ourselves a few grenade booby traps, you know, for anybody that starts poking around in here, and that should give us a fair enough warning if they come off, you know, anybody comes salvaging the ship.
You're right. They did say that they'd been here in the gunshots, so time must travel pretty good.
You know, we've traveled real good. So yeah, I make sure, you know, LT will make sure that Sarge and Happy and himself both have like a couple of available grenades, and everything else we strap to the ship in various ways for it to that anybody comes in and exploring the ship or messing around with it in any way, it'll go off and should give us a fair enough warning.
All right. Well, you find a total of a half dozen grenades, so 6 grenades.
Okay, so that's fine. Happy doesn't play well with grenades anyway. He just likes to shoot things. So, yeah, we just
put them.
All right. Well, away you go, Happy. Start.
Well, and tactically, the best way I look at the ship going, if I was going to come in here and mess with this area, where would I go? And I go, and then seriously hunched over going, weapons, armory. No, that's me. Where? So thinking through the best tactical way to approach this from the direction that they would be coming from, that's where I'm going to start setting up traps.
All right.
And
Can you do anything for it, or?
we need a roll for that there, Sean?
No, you guys set up
Okay.
your traps and all that. That's no problem.
Sean, could I do like intermittent comm checks just to make sure, you know, like just checking in every like 20 minutes? It's like, yeah, there's still no movement.
I was wondering when someone was going to try and do that. Yeah. After a while, I mean, you're doing this as they're walking, and you're getting responses back from them and all that, and then you're getting nothing back.
After how long?
After about a half hour after they've left, you're getting nothing back from them.
Hmm. And they LT's like, Sarge, were you keeping comms with our observation post? Because I'm not picking up anything.
I'm not either, Sarge.
Hmm.
That's why I asked earlier how long had you been walking before you radioed back to them.
Well, see, it's
Right,
like
that's
every 20 minutes I'd check in, but so I got one response and it was fine. Then I guess the second 20 minutes was radio silence.
Yep.
all right. Well, we've secured the ship. We have the beacon. Let's.
I don't like
I'm
leaving
wondering
hanging.
if I don't think that's wise either. See. All right. So, Sarge, you take point, and let's get moving. And I'm like, we're gonna stay pretty close together on this one. There's no need to spread us out. Head us back to the OP here, and let's see if we can't figure out what's going on with the radio signals.
10-4, heading out.
All right, now heading back at the same pace you left, double timing it back. What?
I figure Sarge would double time it. He cares about his guys. So.
All right. Well, you get about halfway back, and it's been about an hour since you guys left, and that's when you get a sort of a worrisome communication from Bond.
Okay.
That says,
Bond to LT, Bond, or what we called Lucky Squad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bond to anyone in Lucky Squad. Can you receive me? Over.
Yeah. Bond, this is LT. Yeah,
It's good to hear your voice. What happened?
not exactly sure. I think we only have access to short comms.
What's your 20 right now?
We're south of your position, probably maybe half a click out.
Okay. Well, there's nothing to report here. I guess, Sean, that there's been no movement.
yeah, nothing that's significant. I mean, you can see guys moving around and this and that. I mean, it just looks like
Any ships take off or anything like that? Anything on that?
nothing's taken off, but a third TIE fighter has returned, and this one's black.
Okay, well, a black TIE fighter has arrived and landed inside the compound.
Roger that.
That's the only thing of note to report, except for the 2 sentries who are occasionally patrolling the wall.
Okay. Yeah.
Are we supposed to have long range comms, sir?
You would normally have comms with each other that would reach at least easily a click, maybe 2 clicks, helmet comms between each other. But your best guess is that they're jamming communications.
I believe Hask did say something about communications only getting off planet if they allow it. They might be jamming communications. We might need to move that transponder.
Probably jamming it too.
Roger that. We are currently carrying the package, and we have left our home in good hands. So let's pack up, and we'll let you come to us, pick your way out, and we'll continue monitoring till you're on our 20.
Roger that. Leaving now.
And I point to a couple of spots for the Sarge and Happy to take up positions while we wait. Keep an eye on our our trails both north and south, and no sense in getting jumped while we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, and just a short time later, Les and Bond come skulking your way. Again, with nothing really to report. I mean, they've seen what's happened here on the planet since you've been here, so they've been watching the trees and watching around as they go. And
Right.
All quiet so far.
All right. I'm like, Sarge, happy you guys take the front, and we'll take up our since arriving march here, and let's keep an eye on our back trails, and we'll head back to the ravine, and we'll hold up there for the night, and we'll see what we can make of see how far out we can go with this the transponder and the package in our radio comms. So
10-4.
All right. So you guys are headed out to the ravine. You've got the transponder. It's transmitting as you go. You're going to make camp there for the night?
that's correct.
I have a question. So I am an outdoorsman, so it takes me about half the time to travel. Would I be able to attempt to cover up our tracks and kind of, I understand that some of them are going to be breaking branches and whatnot, but I want to put a lot of sign in different directions. So I'm kind of weaving as they're making a straight line to the thing.
Yeah. Easily.
That works. Okay.
Easily. I mean, you're actively attempting to do so, and you could easily mask where you're going and all that. Not any issues at all.
Okay.
And you guys make it back to the ravine just maybe a half hour before nightfall.
Okay. And so LT gets into position, and he's like, all right, Bond, you take a position up in the tree up there. You should have pretty good coverage both up and down the ravine, and we'll rotate and spell out a couple hours.
10-4.
And the rest of the squad, we need to break down and find yourself a decent spot to bed down for the night. Make sure you're within distance of you can at least kick or throw a stone at the nearest squad mate. Don't want anybody getting separated or picked off while we're sleeping.
All right, yeah, you guys do your rotations and such, and about halfway through the night, through one of your helmet comms, through all of your helmet comms, I should say, not one, but all of your helmet comms, you hear Platoon 3-4, Lucky Squad. Platoon 3-4, Lucky Squad, please return.
This is TK 2375. Lucky Squad, copy over.
Oh, it's good to hear from you. We picked up your distress signal. We're inbound. We will be on site in approximately 3 hours.
3 hours, roger that. We need to. What kind of landing do you need?
I'm clearing large enough for a transport. That's it.
Roger that. We'll clear out an LZ.
We're just gonna do a quick touch and go. We got other business.
Understood. There's 5 of us. We'll be waiting for you.
All right, we'll get a rundown of everything that happened once we got you. See you in 3 hours.
Roger that. So we went through half the night there, Sean. So
Yep.
roughly we got 4 hours, more or less.
Yeah, it's roughly about 2 a.m. whenever you get that communication.
Roger that. So yeah, I checked to make sure. I'm like, Sarge, do you check on the other Happy and Les? And I go to Bond's position, and I'm like, have you sighted any natural landing zones in the time that you've been up here? Anything big enough to drop a transport?
Sean, you want me to make a roll or some perception, or?
Well, have you been moving around, or have you just been sort of stationary in one area?
Stationary in a tree. Kind of like, I don't know how high up I am and, what the other foliage is like, but...
All right, you know what? Make a perception check. Let's see. Do you have night vision or anything on that?
Yeah. It comes, the S11 comes equipped with that stuff. It already has a scope and everything that comes with that.
All right, so then it would just be 2 purple.
Okay.
And
That's good.
God damn it, show me my dice.
You got a success and an advantage.
All right, yeah. You've seen about a half click past the end of the ravine, past the southern end of the ravine. So not far from where you actually took your shot, your shots on the tusk cats. That there is a clearing that is more than large enough for a transport the size of the one that you were on when that crashed to do a touch and go landing.
KLT, yeah, about a click and a half due south. There should be a clearing big enough to make the rendezvous.
Roger that. We are we're about 180 minutes, maybe give or take, before the transport touches down. Let's grab some grub and make sure you guys are your equipment is secured, and we'll move out and secure this LZ. Les, you secure the transponder.
Yes, sir.
And you take point with Sarge there. Happy, I need you to cover the back trail. Keep your eye out for anything else coming up the back.
Yeah,
Bond, you and I will take to the middle, and as soon as we get the thumbs up from Les, we'll move out. Get grub. We'll be ready to move out in 20.
All right. Well, we do a whole little time lapse thing here, where if we were watching a movie, it would fade to black and then come back up, and it's the 5 of you sort of standing at the edge of this clearing, all posted up in different areas, doing your job, watching behind, side, and front, all that, as this transport comes, and you can see it coming down. And you can see that he's not letting off the thrusters enough to where he's actually going to set down. He's just coming in and is going to basically just like touch the tips of the grass and be ready to take off again. So I would like athletics checks from everybody to get on the transport.
What's our diff? What's the difficulty?
You guys are pretty well used to this, so it's just going to be an average difficulty, 2 purple.
Average difficulty, 2 purple. All right. Anybody with issues on that one? Athletics should be all right for everybody. Looking good.
Yep.
Looking good.
Barely made that one there, Bond.
I did not make it.
Oh,
Oh, but you've got the advantages.
Yeah. And that's another one. And
Damn.
all right. So I'm taking my 2 strain under this pretense. Essentially, the LT is the last one to hit the transport. So he is basically doing everything he can to push his men up into the transport. Like, so
All right, that sounds perfect. We're gonna say that Happy's advantages are the factor that the LT is close enough. He's able to grab a hold of him and haul his ass up onto the transport just as it's lifting off. And the same with
let's see.
Les, your advantages are going to be the factor that Sarge is close enough to sort of give you a boot in the ass to get up on get up on the thing. Like, just as this thing's starting to take off, like, you've got boots on the platform, but it lurches as he gives the thruster to take off. You sort of do one of these whoa, like,
that's the reason why we're wearing those harnesses. Like the load bearing gear, he like grabs a hold of it and yanks him in there. It's like,
yep. And
Thanks, Sarge.
anytime.
that is the end. Everything fades to black.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
The end of our session tonight. It has been a long time since I've run any games. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I can't wait to run more. And I hope you all had fun. I hope you come back for more games in the future. And anybody who watches this later on, seeing as how nobody showed up to watch it live, I hope you enjoy the game. There will be more to come in the future. That's it for me. You guys want to say anything as your closing statements?
I'll be back. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. That's not my line. Somebody else should need to take that line.
We got to the chop.
It was good to be back.
Oh. Yeah.
What are the good?
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Hope to see y'all back watching again sometime soon.